Okay, this video is a redo of the videos that I entitled Know You, the Quiet Desperations, Your Deepest Fears of the SQ that lead to your mythic journey and the role that you're here to play. Well, I took all of those down because, number one, I just put in too much information like I always do. And I really felt I was making some kind of mistake, and I really, what the SQ of the Gene Keys, if you don't know what I'm talking about that there's a free profile that you can get from genekeys.com. It kind of gives you a spiritual blueprint, and there's a center sphere called the SQ, and the SQ indicates, will point you to your deepest fears. And I think during this time, it's a really important time, while so much fear is exploding on the planet, to really look and dive into and embrace these fears. Anyway, the other videos I spoke about, this really is, this sphere indicates your mythic journey, your hero's journey. But I was correlating that sphere can indicate the role that you're here to play. And that's where I think I made my mistake. I didn't feel comfortable in saying that that's your role. I think there's another place in the Gene Keys that indicates more directly your role, or maybe you just discover your own role. Anyway, so this video is going to be a redo. I'm going to keep it as quick as possible and just talk about the basic fears for each of the line numbers, and just keep it clean and simple. And the reason why I wanted to get this out now, because in light of the energy report that I just did, that, you know, the shadowy energy, the fear, we're all facing this kind of fear of some kind of death. Fear is really going to be heavy. Everything's crumbling. Structures are crumbling. Our reality is crumbling. Our conceptual reality. And it's stirring up a lot of fears. But now is the time, you know, to really take advantage of this time. Let me back up. You know, that hexagram 28 talks about fear of death, but it's really a fear of purposelessness, that we don't have a purpose. Like, that's really at our core fear. What is our purpose? So this is our great opportunity to find our purpose, to begin that journey, our true purpose. And it is within our deepest fears that we find our purpose, our reason for being, right? Because that's our mythic journey. If we can face our fears, and each one of us has a different coloring of fear. It's not just fear of death. I mean, it's fear of death, but what does that fear of death feel like to you? Does it feel like being corrupt and bad, or does it feel like you don't have all the knowledge you need? Okay, so each one of us has a different coloring. And if we can, during this time, take advantage of it and really dive into what specific fear is keeping you up at night, and you can become aware of it, embrace it, and say, okay, I'm going to turn that fear into maybe how I can help somebody else, then you're on the road to finding your divine purpose. And I just thought it would be an important time to clarify. Okay, so what I'm going to be referring to, I'm going to be talking about lines 1 through 6. This is connected to the Gene Keys SQ sphere, and it will have a number, point something, and that indicates your line number. If you have a 0.1, you are a line number 1. 0.6, you're a line number 6. So I'm going to go through the basic fears that I have intuitively, and using other tools, have correlated to this SQ. So line 1 holds several fears. Line 1 is a very instinctual, primal fear pattern that holds several different layers of fears. And look, all of these fears that I'm talking about, we all have. but one of them will hit you really more deeply, more intensely. It'll be that fear that, like, when you're drifting off to sleep and you're just about to let go, you wake up and you go, and that fear rises up. I know you've had that experience, right? That's the fear that keeps you up at night, that keeps you from sleeping. Okay, so line number one is very primal, instinctual feeling fears. These are the three options of fears that you can have. The first fear, that you have a fear that there is something inherently bad, evil, corrupt about you, that you're not good enough, not meaning in skill, but in holiness. Okay, there's something not right about you, something's corrupt, you're out of alignment with all that is good. Okay, and this fear secretly promotes this seeking to be aligned with the good, the sacred, the holy, to be perfect. Okay, all that sort of behavior. Or another fear associated with this primal fear of line one is this fear of being destroyed. Being powerless, like I'm not a strong being, someone's going to violate me. Fear of death, fear of being humiliated, okay, powerless, okay. This promotes a behavioral seeking of looking to feel strong. I'm going to have impact in the world. I'm going to make a splash. I'm going to be bigger than life. I'm going to take risks. I got to feel strong, okay. These are kind of like our heroes. I'm going to take action. Okay. And the third fear attached to line number one, and you're not going to have all of these. One of these will fit better than the other two. There is, could be a fear of being out of harmony with the whole, kind of losing your world, being cut off or disconnected, feeling loveless, okay, that you're out of sync with the whole. So this promotes behavior of always wanting to make everybody happy. You can be the people pleaser, you don't stand up for your own wants and needs. You just want to make everybody happy. Everyone's in harmony, and all you're seeking is just peace of mind. Who cares about your needs? Because your needs might disrupt the whole harmony of the whole. Okay. So line number one encompasses all of those kind of fears. So we move to lines 2, 3, and 4. And this group is our feeling group, our feeling triad. And they're really concerned about the subjective feeling, self-image. How does life make me feel? How I'm perceived. It's a very feeling quality essence to it. So if you have line 2, you possibly might have this underlying fear of being loveless, that there is no love. There's no love in the world. There's no love for me. I can't find love. I don't have any love to give. And so in turn, that promotes a seeking of, I need to be in relationships to feel loved. I need to feel needed. I need to be one with love. I need to be connected to the source of all love. All that lovey mushy. I need to feel needed. Okay, and oftentimes they become, line 2s can jump into other people's lives. Like, oh, let me help you, let help her. Okay, because they need to feel needed. Feeling needed is love to them. Line number 3s, they perhaps may feel this fear of being worthless, that they're not successful enough. The image that they have or story that they have of themselves is not valued, okay? They fear not being valued, worthless, deficient in some way. They're not socially valued, or their talents or something, their accomplishments are not being valued. Okay, and so they're constantly seeking to feel valuable and worthwhile, seeking confirmation from the outside to validate their worth in society and in life. Line number 4s their basic fear is a fear. They feel that they have no unique identity or any personal significance, that they're bland. There's nothing significant about them. You know, they're basically purposelessness. Okay. So it leads to seeking to find their uniqueness, you know, wearing perhaps the dark clothing, you know, just really standing out from the crowd because they're seeking their personal significance. They're seeking to find their identity. Okay. Lines 5 and 6 are the thinking triadic group. It's thinking of safety and security. This is concerned with, sorry, I just lost they can have a lot of anxiety because safety and security, all the mind thoughts, okay, they're very worried about safety and security. So line number 5s may have this fear of not understanding, not knowing what is real, what isn't real. I don't, what's true, what isn't true. Fear of being lost in ignorance or senselessness, silly stuff. Fear of not knowing what is true and what isn't. So this promotes a seeking of understanding the reality. Oh, I have to understand the core essence of this thing. They might focus on one thing and become a master at it because they will, that fear of unknown has to be compensated, so they find mastery in one thing and they will know everything about this one thing because that promotes safety and security to them. Okay, so it's a thinking, understanding the reality, what's true, what isn't. For line 6 people, they are just basically fearful of fear itself. And I know because I'm a line 6. But they fear this fear of being kind of lost. And it's that feeling when you go to sleep and you let go and you feel like you're falling and you have no orientation, no safety, no security. You're just like off in the abyss. And so line 6s fear that they have no ground of being, no direction in life, no support under their feet. They're not grounded, and that they don't have a real trustworthy orientation or direction in life. That's they really have the most fear. They're the ones most fear of itself. Like they encompass all the other line numbers. And each line number can hold, the higher you go, like line 6 holds all the other fears underneath it, right? So the mind here really takes over for line 6s and 5s as well. Line 6s can also encompass a fear of, I don't want to deal with emotions, emotional attachment, feelings and things like that. Attachment to other people, commitments can also be a thing. That it just doesn't feel good to deal with emotional issues because this is all mind. This is the mind thinking triad group. And so this can promote a lot of flakiness, like, oh, let me try this thing. Let me go to this party. Let me get into materialism. Okay. So that's how line 6s can feel safe and secure and fearful. Okay. Wasn't that quick? I'm keeping it simple and quick, and I hope it's helpful if you're feeling fear, that these guidelines or what I've described here can act as like a pointer. Like we all feel fear and we can say, oh, I feel this fear. But if you don't know what it's leaning towards, what fear it is, what to attribute it to, you can't heal it. You have to be aware of its roots. Yeah? So this is only a pointer. It's a way to be able to sit with your fear and go, am I feeling fear that I'm worthless? No, I feel pretty valuable, but maybe I don't feel like I have any personal significance, like a real identity, a unique quality that makes me not special, but that I have a personal significance, something different to offer, right? Maybe that really keeps you up at night, okay? So these are just pointers, regardless if you look at the gene keys, care about the gene keys, you know, it's just pointers so that we can kind of get a grip or let go of the grip of fear and turn that fear into something useful, because ultimately this mythological journey that you're going to take diving into fear is going to lead you into your purpose. Maybe how you deal with fear is how you help others. Do you help others feel valuable? Do you help others find divine alignment with all that is holy and sacred and good? Divine will? Or do you help people find an orientation, a way of thinking, a ground of being that feels stable and secure? Hopefully, I do that on occasion. Okay, fear not. See you later.